Hello and welcome to episode number 148 of Decentralized Revolution, the Mises Caucus podcast. I'm Aaron Harris. I'm your host. Normally, Nate Thurston would be with us. He had kind of a household emergency here at the last minute, which is kind of one of the reasons why we did like a dual host format, because I had to bail at the last minute a few weeks ago. So a little redundancy built in there. We got a lot to talk about. And as I was just reflecting on the Charlie Kirk thing and what that means for liberty. Of course, my number one person to talk to about these things, I'm sure who you want to hear from, is Angela McArdle, Mises Caucus chair, former LNC chair. So yeah, glad you could join me. How are things, and how are you feeling today?
Yeah, I guess I'm in recovery mode. At this point, I think that things are okay, ish. Things are fine for me personally.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, how do you even answer, like, how are you doing the week after your friend was like assassinated on stage? And yeah, just the state of the world in general, it's kind of rough.
Yeah, tell me about your first time you were aware of Charlie Kirk, your connection to him and all that.
I don't really know the first time I was aware of Charlie Kirk. I mean, I was following him and Turning Point, and what they were doing during President Trump's first election. But I don't know. I feel like they just kind of were just there, and if you were involved in politics, you saw him, So he just obviously became a force, over the last 10 years. It's crazy how young he was. He was only 31.
Yep.
Ross Ulbricht talked about it on social media, which I appreciated, but Charlie had been a big advocate of his. He's someone that I think helped to push it over the finish line. And it was probably important for President Trump to know that he was going to have a conservative approval on doing a move like that, some people would view as risky, or, like, how is this really like touching, how are you connecting with your voter base through this? And Charlie Kirk was like, he was a really fierce advocate for Ross and for Lynn, which I really appreciated. And, he was also advocating really strongly for Roger Ver as well. And, that was something that was unfolding in real time. Yeah. It's just really, it's really tragic. And, Charlie helped a lot of people, not just people in Con Inc., not just moderate right-wing spaces, or, whatever you want to call right-wing spaces. He really reached outside of that. He donated a lot of money to help make the Rescue the Republic rally happen, which is something I worked on with Brett Weinstein and Matt Toon, not a strictly right-wing or strictly Christian event. He was friends with the Kennedys. It's kind of shocking and gross to see the left vilify him that way when he was the sweet one.
Yeah.
He wasn't, and I don't want anything bad to happen to Nick Fuentes, but I kind of always assumed if they were going to go after someone on the right, they would pick Nick or someone like him. He has had, psycho stalkers show up at his front door before. He does have more inflammatory rhetoric. It's, Nick Fuentes is not saying things that were like normal talking points 10 years ago. Like, he's pretty out there with some of this stuff about Jewish people. And so, yeah, it was kind of nuts and insane to see people that I used to consider friends like celebrate the murder of another friend of mine.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one thing that has been kind of on my mind too, of like, even like within the LP, like I haven't talked about what I do for a living. I haven't said my children's or my wife's name online or anything like that, just because there are strange people in the LP. I mean, in Reno, there was a person who was literally trying to get your hair off of your sweater or something so she could cast a spell on you. So we've had some, those of us in this level of LP stuff have faced some kind of pretty weird stuff.
Yeah.
And when you think about somebody who has that much more reach, that, I know he had security at all kinds of, a lot of these people on his level have security. And, for the past 10 years, speaking on a college campus has been, as a conservative or libertarian, has been it's like going in a high crime neighborhood at 2 a.m. It's a risky thing. And so to feel just like a tiny bit of that myself, and then thinking about you who are, you're a lot more high profile, and, people like Dave and all that, it does hit literally close to home. It's strange. And the thing that is, and of course, I'm not the first one to say this, but, immediately when I heard something that happened, I put Twitter on my phone, because I try to not have it on my phone all the time because I'll be on it all the time. So I downloaded that again, put it on there. And then like, as soon as I was lucky enough to like realize, like, it was right when I heard he had been shot.
Yeah.
And then I saw, like, I realized that the video that was auto playing, like, I realized what was about to happen, and I did not see it. And so I'm glad I missed that. But then quickly after that, it's like people celebrating this. And it's like the worst thing about that is the people who are celebrating or making jokes or whatever, they're doing that because they think there's an audience for that. And the fact that there is an audience for that just shows you how far we've come in the last 10 years, really.
And it was grisly.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I wish I hadn't seen it. It was like the faraway shot was close enough. I didn't need to see that up close. Yeah. I didn't need to see that footage, and then I saw it, and it's like, I can't unsee it. It's really, really upsetting. Close my phone, opened Instagram later in the day, because I on Instagram, it's like I only look at like stuff for toddlers to do in my city, or like food, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a totally different algorithm for me. Yep. And then it's right there, because it has just climbed to the top of the algorithm. It's just horrifying, followed by viral comments of people who are praising it and celebrating it.
Yeah. And
some of them in the Libertarian Party too, by the way.
Well,
some of them
that's
in the Libertarian Party.
Yeah, exactly. So again, there's several people who shall remain nameless, again, just because I don't want to invite that into my life. But several years ago, when I got back involved with the LP of a few years out, I joined up on Facebook and became, how you do, you become friends with like every single libertarian. And so I'm still friends with several people who, a couple people who used to be on the LNC and some other sort of high profile left wing inside the LP people. And like immediately, this one person in particular who, it probably wouldn't take too much to guess, but like this guy is like going super hard on just kind of being really coy about, oh, well, I'm not saying he should be shot, but here's every disgusting thing I could say about him.
Yeah.
And going into this is what really, somebody is disturbed when they start talking about how they would torture someone else. And so this person had like an elaborate, like, this person's obviously an atheist, is like, well, but if I were God, I would send Charlie Kirk to hell. And this is what the hell he would experience would be. And it's just like, in those moments, I'm like, hey, this is what we have almost succeeded in driving completely out of the LP. We're so close.
Yeah, we need to have a mass, like it was the Twitter account Being Libertarian that posted the meme about wrestler heels and like, don't make a deal with them, when they're going to slap you in the face. We've learned our lesson there. We have to, in Grand Rapids, like remove all of them, and in a membership resolution or something, there need to be 100 people ish who are named banned, revoke their lifetime membership if they have it. You're not welcome back. I'll hire a professional person to write it up. We're not going to use Robert's Rules of Order sorcery battle. It's just, we can't, because it's like a death cult. There's like celebrating death
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about anything that's foundational to libertarianism. It's like,
Yeah.
so, you know, our first grievances are like, well, they're very unprofessional and embarrassing and unserious. They only seem to care about sex work, drugs, and open borders. They don't care about Gaza. They don't care about free speech. They're bad on COVID. Like they only care about pleasure seeking things.
Abortion.
And now on top of that, like they're cheering on murder while
Yeah.
also coyly saying, I'm not celebrating it, but, and then the rest of it is a long mantra about why they're celebrating it.
Yeah.
I don't want to share a party I don't want to share a country with them.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is. National divorce. I don't know how realistic that is. I'd be absolutely a proponent of that.
Mm-hmm.
If I thought that was going to happen, like
Yeah.
if I was in Congress, I'd be voting in favor of the resolution. But in the meantime, like, I don't know if I can do outdoor events. We're talking about planning another Rescue the Republic. We're planning some stuff. I've been planning some things, cooking up some things. And I'm wondering, does it all have to be indoors? A lot of the speakers that I was working with before are saying, do it outdoors. I had a bulletproof glass barrier at the last one. That's $100,000 device, by the way. It's not cheap. Like, these things are not cheap.
Yep.
Everyone has to wear Kevlar. How do you protect your neck? Like, there's a lot to deal with.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about, like, one thing that we've always tried to do in the Mises Caucus is, partner with other people on, single issue type things. And be friendly to anybody who is willing to talk. And of course, there's, in the Trump years, so talking basically the last 10 or 11 years now, it's hard to believe that Trump has been kind of on the scene since then. There has been a big shift in, like, what's acceptable opinion on the right. The anti-war thing has been a lot better. The Maha stuff kind of came out of nowhere. Like, the conservatives, I'm old enough, I'll be 50 this year. When I was in high school and college, like, the people talking about food additives and anti-war were liberal university professors, right?
Yeah.
And so all of this stuff has changed on the right. Then there's obviously the foreign policy stuff specific to one country that is, some of that has opened up for debate. And a lot of people who were, again, of a generation ago, people who would have been 100% conservative could not be swayed out of that, kind of Reaganite conservative and even neocon stuff. Now a lot of those influencers and people like that are much more amenable to liberty. And the change, though, like, those people, I want the liberty adjacent people on the right, I wonder a week on how the Charlie Kirk assassination has affected them. Like, where are they at, and what can we do to continue to build bridges to them and get them to be more on the libertarian side of things?
On the right or on the left?
On the right. So,
on
like,
right?
so many people on the right I've seen, and even normies who are just like saying what you said earlier, like, oh, Charlie was the nice one.
Yeah.
And now we shouldn't be nice. And then other people talking, maybe it is now time for national divorce. Like, what is your sense of the mood of the liberty adjacent people on the right?
Yeah.
And how we can continue to engage with them?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people are still grieving, and I felt better after going to church Sunday and Tuesday, and thankfully hearing from a pastor who was aware of everything and talking about it. And that gave me, some catharsis and mission. I think people are still grieving. I think that they are feeling very much a calling, and that some of the answer to this crisis is spiritual. And I think there are some people who want revenge, which is, not really a path I want to go down. Justice, but not revenge. I think they're open to working with us. Like, they want, and I think people on both sides recognize this, they want unity with other good people. Like
Mhm.
they want to work with good people. Like they are recognizing that it's not a Republican versus Democrat battle. It's like the people who want to save Western civilization.
Yep.
And there are a lot of people who are like classical liberal old school Democrats who are in that camp. They
Mhm.
are pro free speech. They are pro medical freedom. They truly believe in bodily autonomy, even if I
Mhm.
disagree with them on maybe on abortion. Like
Mhm.
they can articulate the position of medical freedom very well. And they feel like they have more in common with right wingers now, even though they may not agree with them on everything with economics. But I
Yeah.
think also COVID really red pilled a lot of them because they're like,
Mhm.
I don't know that I can trust the government with my health. Therefore, why should I trust them with spending or healthcare?
Yeah.
And I think people on the right are more welcoming to that, because they're like, oh wow, another person who doesn't want to murder me. Yes, let's be friends. We
Yeah.
should work together to push back against whatever the heck this is that
Yeah.
has invaded leftist spaces. I mean, I personally, I think it's demonic. I think there's
Yeah.
demonic activity in the Democratic Party right now, and Dems who are not, into that stuff should abandon ship at this point and go independent if you don't feel at home anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that if you look at, again, we haven't mentioned the whole, the trans stuff, and just that's a pretty deep rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And if that's not demonic, like literally, I don't know what is. Most of it, talking about, the underage
The kids,
people
the
like that. Yeah.
kids, and it's a difficult topic to talk about, I think, from a
Yep.
libertarian perspective. Like,
Yep.
I don't think it's a good choice. I think that there is like the trans panic stuff happening in schools that is like
Mhm.
peer pressure, and it was the same in the 90s with anorexia. I
Yep.
think it is very similar. And I feel, for the transgender people who are not part of the far left death cult, because they
Yep.
are out there.
Yep.
Nobody wants to feel for them right now. Nobody wants to
Mhm.
feel for them. It's not about that. It's about Charlie Kirk and his family. Like, I get it. But I do have trans friends who are not psychos.
Right.
And it's a lot, for them to deal with. It's just not a good. My takeaway from that is it's not a good thing for anybody when you take something that is supposed to be a tiny segment of the population that
Mhm.
has sort of a cultural understanding with the majority of the population, and then you try to
Mhm.
flip it on its head and invert it and make it mainstream. That
Yeah.
it will always be explosive. It will always hurt the like small number of people who are like, look, we were minding our own business. We know we've got issues. There are issues. Let us deal
Yep.
with it.
Yep.
And now we've got this.
Well, and the social media aspect of things is,
Yeah.
and pardon me, you lock people down, and you have your people who are only allowed to get online. They're lonely, they're depressed, they find a little sub interest that leads them to another thing, and pretty soon you have a social contagion
Yeah.
that then one party is trying to weaponize, and quite literally seems like they may have quite literally done that.
Yeah. Jeffree
Which is
Star has had some good commentary about that. I don't know if you're aware of him, but he's like the makeup guru.
okay. What's his name?
Jeffree Star.
Okay.
He's a very gay male makeup artist. I used to go to nightclubs with him in Hollywood in the early 2000s. So I knew him I knew him from the LA club scene, going to Club
Yeah.
Bang and Club Beat It, like 80s and 90s Britpop clubs.
Okay.
And he, became famous, which is kind of wild. Like, he always just had a lot of makeup on.
Mhm.
And he's got he's famous for his makeup line now. He's got a very popular cosmetics line. And he moved to, like, I don't know, Wyoming or Montana, the middle of nowhere,
Right.
maybe right before COVID or during it. And he has like camels and stuff. And he occasionally has pretty base takes. Like, he's like, I'm a gay man. I'm not trans. I can't change my gender. There's no they, thems.
Yep.
And and is like everyone calling out celebrating the murder of Charlie Death is sick. You're all sick. You're all in a cult. Like, it's been
and like I
fun
haven't
to
checked.
watch.
Yeah, and I haven't checked them out in a while, but the Gays Against Groomers is a group that, at the height of sort of 3 years ago, to 3-4 years ago, when we couldn't be having this conversation on YouTube, that at that time that a lot of people in the church were struggling to get their arms around it and or were afraid to say things. The Gays Against Groomers page was having very thought out, well-reasoned personal stories of people of like, hey, just pointing out a lot of sexualizing children and all this stuff is just wrong. And so thankfully they did a lot of good work that I think a lot of people have finally started to catch up. Another aspect of this that again we saw, I think it's interesting when you think about it. So people are facing consequences for celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, which that's another topic I don't know if you want to touch on, but so many people are doing that. It's basically the same people were doing the same things when the Luigi guy killed the healthcare exec.
Yeah.
And nobody faced consequences for that. And that didn't even really come up as far as, it was just the left being the left and nobody really complained about that. But I think the parallels between the two are pretty obvious that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if he's going to be facing consequences for that. They dropped the first-degree murder charges against him because apparently the charges they gave were first-degree murder in connection or in furtherance of terrorism instead of just regular first-degree murder. And somehow they couldn't figure out how to. It was so clearly premeditated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're all. He's got a big fan base cheering, standing outside the courtroom cheering. They're all dressed in like Luigi Mario Brothers garb with signs basically that are like pro-murder, anti-wealth, wealth like written in like red bloody letters. It's gross. It's not. They're not like Luigi is innocent. He didn't do it. They're like he's a rock star because he murdered someone.
Yeah.
I don't understand how, like, where do we go from here with them?
Well, I think that and then the Charlie Kirk thing shows us that some people you just don't debate with and you don't try to engage with. And maybe that sphere of people has gotten a little larger after this. And I think that, Mike Heiss always said, going back to what Ron Paul always said, was going back to what I think Albert J. Nock is the guy who wrote the essay on the remnant, Isaiah's job, the remnant. It's our job to reach the people who already kind of believe what we believe and wake them up and activate them, and not try to win arguments with people who hate our guts and literally hate the concept of liberty. And that's one thing that, the history of the LP, the old approach was, oh, well, we want to be, the party in the middle, have this broad-based appeal, like Amash, kind of some of his stuff, rhetoric, like he specifically said, we have to appeal to everybody. And it's like, no, that's never going to work.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to appeal to a lot of people. I want to appeal to like the Maha people who are liberty inclined. I love them. I want to appeal to them. Right wingers who are not totally down with the GOP. I want to appeal to them. Independents who like agree with us on most issues. But like far leftists who want us dead, we shouldn't be wringing our hands tied up in knots trying to figure out how to get them to pay $25 to join our party.
Yeah.
I think we probably did that too much in the past. And now look at the mess, like those are the ones celebrating the assassination of like an incredibly sweet, generous, kind person.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Yep. Yeah, there's so many ways, so many different directions to go from that. But like, I think that the message of, not again, another key part of the LP message before Mike Heiss and Angela McArdle and the Mises Caucus was kind of this self-actualization, the libertine type thing, and just celebrating whatever. But, I think the Mises Caucus emphasis on localism, on, it's okay for states to be different, and for what's going on in Tennessee to be different than what, Oregon, a libertarian Oregon might look like, to let people be who they want to be, and not, and again, Scott Horton always talks about Ron Paul, like he wasn't telling people to give up their love of country or anything like that. Let's just be against the wars and against the central banking, and then you don't have to believe anything else for us to get along. So I think that message is going to resonate with people who are, again, on the right and on the sensible left. There are so many people that are very close to, what we really believe, and we're able to work with them. And I think, going after those people, building alliances and personal relationships is the way to go. And there's no way to convince, half of the country overnight to vote for our presidential candidate or whatever. So,
yeah. I totally agree. And if you're listening and you're not active in the party, we would love for you to join. Go to lpmisescaucus.com, join your state affiliate. Don't get involved.
Yep.
Don't get involved. Join and let us tell you who to connect with, so that you do not have to deal with the crazies. Because I'm hardcore, like segregation right now in the LP. It's not racial segregation. It's based on your psychological profile.
Right. And so a better thing to do, you can go to lpmisescaucus.com, but go to takehumanaction.com. It'll eventually get you to the same place, but at takehumanaction.com, you can sign up for the newsletter. And also, if you put your state in on that form, we'll connect you with the Mises Caucus organizers in your state, who will then reach out and see where you are and get you involved with the LP through there. And, some places like Tennessee, where 98% of the state party is Mises, or like actual friendly neutrals. Tennessee is great. Josiah and Zach and Sam and everybody have just done such a great job.
Tennessee is fantastic. Shout out to Colorado as well. They are recruiting ahead of their October convention. So they have a convention in or near Denver that I will be at in October. So Colorado, join.
I was just putting together an email to send out. It's Colorado. It's in Denver. It says Denver, but it might be one of those like Aurora.
It's like right on the edge. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's Saturday, October 18th. So go to lpcolorado.org, or again, takehumanaction.com, and we'll get you hooked up with Hannah and everybody else in Colorado. I guess what do you see? What's on the kind of the roadmap between here and Grand Rapids for the caucus that we need to be doing?
Lots of recruiting, lots of stealth recruiting. That's right. It is. It's flying under the radar a little bit. And I think we're really warming people up to the idea of a kingmaker strategy in 2028, where we potentially run a Libertarian Party nominee who is open to the idea of dropping out and endorsing the GOP candidate for serious concessions. Spot on the transition team, cabinet pick, something that will make an impact for liberty. If we want to do that, we have to get in shape in 26, which means totally gutting the bylaws, making some changes to the platform, but not arguing about it at the mic, just in and out, right? One and done. Bringing the Maha people in, because I got to say that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has done more to advance liberty by exposing all the BS with the COVID shots, removing their recommendations, than the Libertarian Party has ever done. Like that. It's like, what would Michael Heiss say? By our fruits, you'll know us. Like his fruits have been fantastic.
Yep. Yeah. And also just the whole, not just with COVID shots, but the other aspects of the pharmaceutical industry and how they, it's,
he's exposing fraud. He's
right.
exposing fraud.
Well, and more than that, even it's just like a conspiracy to use the power of the state to keep truth from people, to force people to take medication or trick them into taking medication that's not safe, while at the same time preventing people from using perfectly safe medications that could save their lives. Like they saved my sister's life because a doctor was willing to risk her license, I think. So yeah, it's I have been, the Trump administration has been, it's been a roller coaster. There's all kinds of different things going on, and that's one of the great things that has happened, and I hope will continue to happen. I hope he'll continue to make more progress. But like the aspect of like the kingmaker strategy is, it's having the little bit of leverage we have. If we have a good presidential candidate this time, then we have more leverage, still a comparatively small amount. But if we got the, Ross Ulbricht freed this time, we built some goodwill so you can lobby for other stuff. Yep. But if we have a bigger wedge, then maybe we get a little bit more next time. But the thing is if whomever is the nominee, whether it's Vance or Vivek or God forbid somebody else who's not in the country right now, somebody like that, if they don't make the promises, then they don't get the votes, and our guy stays in and spoils it for them. So that's the key. Is not to.
Yeah, we're not helping Mitt Romney, take the presidency.
Yeah,
that's not, JD Vance, who carries Charlie Kirk's body home on Air Force Two and sits on his podcast and says a bunch of libertarian stuff all the time. Yeah. Yep. Like, is he a perfect libertarian by LP standards? No. But is he Mitt Romney? No. Like, I mean, I'm excited about the future of the country when it's going in that trajectory. Yeah. And I know that it's not perfect and we don't have a quote unquote libertarian administration, but we have to have long-term vision for this. And the fact that we've made any wins at all, like the fact that we were even able to just turn the tide on the direction the country was going in is phenomenal. Yeah. We should celebrate it. We should keep stacking wins. The things that are not going the way you want them to, by all means, keep complaining and pressuring about them. But I have to be the cheerleader because I'm just like excited. I'm on Team Humanity. Yeah. And I feel like finally Team Humanity is pulling into the lead.
Yeah. I mean, it really is how things were. Like my wife and I moved to Tennessee in the spring of 21 at the height of all that stuff. The deplatforming had actually started, I think, in 18 and 19. Yeah. And then the COVID stuff just put that on steroids. And I was seriously considering, like, the country that my wife's family is from, like, can we get citizenship in Taiwan? Right. Like I was like, it's probably better to be 100 miles off the coast of China than it is to be in the United States. And just how much that has changed. And again, even like, and like among all the people on the Mises board, I'm probably the most like anti-Trump. Like I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote because I'm in Tennessee, but I'm not like anti-Trump either. I'm just, it's complicated, but we definitely owe him and his administration, like, even if they did nothing else, the fact that veil of just being able to talk about things is lifted, like that's really significant. And the fact that, again, some of the LP loser brigade will, talk about Trump being fascist, which again, there's some things there that aren't great, but not have anything to say about what was going on before then. Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. In fact, a lot of them were saying that not following lockdowns was a violation of the non-aggression principle.
Yep.
Just totally unhinged and deranged.
Yep.
I'm really careful with like the whole like this is fascist, that is fascist thing, because I feel like that is the thing that leftists use to justify like assassination. He's a fascist. He was literally Hitler. The media's been saying Hitler and fascism for 10 years. So, would you go back in time and kill baby Hitler? Would you kill, so.
Yeah. Well, and that's, it really is. I forget who it was, maybe a couple different people in the last week or so. Like the left is inherently, again, the hardcore left is inherently a violent, counter civilizational revolutionary movement that wants to literally destroy the family, destroy the church, destroy traditions, destroy localism. And they are willing to line people up against the wall. Like you look at the Maoists, the Bolsheviks, Pol Pot, all of those things were of the left, and the people who are, the hardcore left in America today are inspired by the same people. If you go into their Twitter threads, and God forbid you should, I'm never hardly on our own Discord, but like, just imagine what a Marxist Discord server would be like, what you would actually find in there.
Probably a bunch of like gross stuff too.
Well,
as we've discovered over the last week.
Yeah, there's definitely that, the whole Destiny and all that guy. Oh my goodness. But like the fact that they are willing to kill for their political beliefs, that's why they make it, they say things like words are violence. That's why they microaggressions, all that. They do that so they can try to justify to normal people or to themselves their own sort of murderous things.
Yeah. It's like the concept of repressive tolerance. Is it Marcuse? I can't ever say his name. Repressive tolerance, which was like the radical postmodernism view of tolerance, where true tolerance is tolerating ideas from the left, but we have to suppress ideas from the right because there's a power, imbalance. And if we really want to be tolerant, then we let the left rise and become powerful. They don't think that we are equals. They don't actually believe in equality. Like they want to see us snuffed out and they hate us. And that's, it's very scary.
Yeah. And it's the progressive, not the, the progressive era, progressivism, but self-described progressives today. They really look at people who are Christian believers or anything like that. They literally see people like us, I count myself in that number, as someone who is literally 2 centuries behind the times. That history is heading in a certain way. And that's why I think that so many people, you look at some of the, like the No Kings rallies and some of these other rallies that you go, and it's all 70-year-old government employees and teachers and things like that. I think they have been, for the last 50 years, they have been the elite as far as they've had these great jobs. Society, the media, academia have all been on their side in this vision that, okay, the future is this. And the fact that some people, half the country is standing up and saying, probably not, like they're losing it, because literally their whole worldview for their whole lives since the 60s is being called into question. And no wonder, right? If the thing you believed in your whole life and thought you were one of these, the insiders, the elites, and helping usher this in, and now finding out that you have utterly failed because of a felon and a reality star is doing this to you. No wonder TDS is such a thing.
Totally agreed.
Somebody said, I hope it's not Starbucks that Angela is drinking there.
No, it's water from a Berkey water filter.
Okay.
It's very, very libertarian Prepper water. Can we go through some comments? There were a couple.
There were some people that I yeeted.
I think someone asked about.
Here's one from our good friend Hector, who I think is still down in Florida. Let's see. That's a good one. Which one? Kevin, who had pointed out that Charlie did support Ross early on.
Yes, I did. I did know that from speaking with people close to Ross. And then I had a chance to talk to Charlie Kirk later. I've been on Charlie Kirk's show before. He was just like such a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
Such a stand-up guy. People just don't realize how willing he was to work with, libertarians, atheists, people of different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So really a tragic, horrible thing that happened there.
Yeah, it really is. What else? Who are you listening to these days as far as podcasts and stuff that our people may or may not be tuned into that you think are worth listening to?
I actually listen to a lot of Dave Asprey. He's like a biohacking guy, and he's very libertarian.
Mm-hmm.
He was very outspoken and good on COVID. And he's very pro medical freedom. And the other thing that he touches on occasionally with regards to longevity is the population decline and how it's like, you got to get yourself into good health and be prepared to live 120 years because there's not going to be a lot of people to take care of you. So that's one I've been listening to. I don't have a lot of time, to listen, unfortunately. It's like I'm just work all the time. I was on a Free Talk Live, listening in on a Free Talk Live Twitter Spaces this morning. Those are every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Just carrying on Ian's good work, talking about his case, and other issues that come up, current events in general. Yeah.
Also, we recently, the caucus started a Substack. It's on the screen if you're watching, misescaucus.substack.com. You have a piece on there about kind of why political violence isn't the answer. So check that out. But also, we're going to be and have some recent stuff about more inside baseball, Libertarian Party stuff that we don't cover it a lot on the podcast here, just because it's a pretty limited audience for things like that. But for those of you who are interested in, you may hear things or be interested in what's happening at a particular convention coming up, or the, stuff on the LNC. That's a good place to go. misescaucus.substack.com. And
we have all of our LP gossip on there.
Yeah.
All the stuff where we're like, I don't know if we want to talk about that on the podcast. It might scare people off. Well, if you really want to know, you can go to the Substack. Hector Roos was a guest author today.
Yeah, that's right. He has done a lot of good work. Also talk about, we're going to do, is that we nailed that down, the Mises PAC donors summit thing?
We are having a donors summit at the beginning of October.
I think it's the 2nd. I think it's October, Thursday the 2nd.
Yes. So if you have donated to the Mises Caucus in the past year, like $100 or more, we want you there. We're going to be discussing the Kingmaker strategy. We're going to be maybe dropping some names of people who are interested. We want to give our donors a chance to share their ideas. What do they want to see? What would excite them about a Kingmaker strategy? What demands would you want? What will get you fired up? And do you want to help us recruit? Because it's going to be 3 years. And while we do have some really exciting big name people who are interested right now, they have expressed some interest, which makes me very, very excited. There's still like 3 years, right? And so people come in and out. Maybe something else happens in their life. Like, we need a really good stable of quality, high profile, articulate candidates who are willing to do this.
Yeah. So if you want to be a part of that, lpmisescaucus.com/donate. Start a recurring monthly contribution or make a contribution so you can be eligible to get an invite for that. We'll be cross-checking, whether you'll find out, and I'll be announcing it again. I think the email I sent out today had an item about it. I didn't know the date yet, but just watch the email newsletter or donate, and you'll get an email that way. So yeah, you want to be a part of that. Also, we have a question here that came in, and I love to answer this question, and I'll take a shot at it too after you do, Angela, and I'll read it for people who are listening. From Kevin Bradley, 57. Since the Trump administration is libertarian friendly, especially RFK, why not just join the new GOP and walk away from the LP entirely?
So let me tell you, my friend, that the LP is going to exist regardless. It's really difficult to push the detonate, the nuke button on the LP, and it's better to have good people in charge and to basically gatekeep the name and branding of libertarianism. And also, we have an incredible amount of leverage in the Libertarian Party. Yep. You don't have that when you join the GOP.
Yeah. If you join the GOP, you'll be in some Liberty Caucus in the GOP, which is a much, much huger organization. Your influence is greatly diluted. But if you're outside the tent saying, I might support you, I might not, we have ballot access in so many states. You have to contend with us. You have to address our concerns, or we won't help you. That again, the leverage goes away if you join the Republicans or the Democrats. It goes away instantly. And what we're doing is what happens. You'll see stories about European parliaments and stuff like that. The system is different. It's a little easier to do it over there. But the fact that, a party in Germany can have 5% of the vote, but who can have ministers in government and make the plurality winner, compromise and stuff like that, their influence is far beyond their numbers. And that's what we're trying to do. Is it always going to work? No. Might it work some? Yes, because it's already worked. It's already worked a little bit. So we're trying that. And obviously, I would tell them, if you are a small L libertarian, I would urge them to stay in the LP or join us in the LP. For somebody who's maybe not a libertarian and wants to work within the GOP to make them more anti-war and pro-freedom on other things, let 1,000 flowers bloom, to quote Mao. It's such a great quote from such a horrible guy, but do your own thing. But again, if you like the idea of exerting much more power than your numbers justify, then the Mises LP is going to be able to do that. So, I think we're about covered just about everything we wanted to cover.
I think so.
Yeah. So I'll put, if you have any questions about any of this, takehumanaction.com to sign up to get the newsletter and to get hooked in with the caucus in your state. You can email me at Aaron, AARON, at misescaucus.com. And we'll put you in touch. I hope you're able to decompress some and turn all this horrible stuff into motivation to keep doing what we're doing. So just keep up the good work, and we'll keep everybody updated on what's going on. And I'm sure he'll be back on here before Christmas at some point. So I really appreciate it, Angela.
Sounds good. Have a good night.
Okay. See ya.